In pretty much every city around the world, there's this constant tug of war happening between the past and the future. We all love our historic city centers, right? They've got charm, they've got stories. But here's the thing, cities have to grow, they have to change. And that creates a really big challenge. So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you save the soul of a place, its unique character, while still letting it live and breathe and evolve? It's a puzzle that planners and people are trying to solve everywhere. And to really dig into it, we're going to look at a fascinating case study. But first, there's a key idea we need to wrap our heads around, because it totally changes how we look at this whole problem. And that idea is called the historic urban landscape, or HUL for short. The best way to think about it is like putting on a new pair of glasses. Instead of just seeing old buildings and monuments, the HUL approach asks us to see the entire living system. That means the buildings, sure, but also the people, the traditions, the social connections, all the layers that have built up over hundreds of years. It's about the city's lifeblood, not just its bones. Okay, so with that idea in our back pocket, let's dive into what makes a city's history a living thing. Why is looking at a city as this whole, complete system so important, especially right now? Well, it's because old city centers are kind of a paradox. On one hand, they're amazing. They're compact, you can walk everywhere, and they're great at building tight-knit communities. But on the other hand, because they're so great, they're also under constant pressure from new development and rapid growth, which threatens to wipe away everything that makes them special in the first place. To really see this tension up close, we're going to go inside the walls of a specific city in India that perfectly captures this whole struggle, the historic city of Alwar. Alwar is in the beautiful state of Rajasthan. Now, its location is super important here. It's part of India's national capital region. That means it's sitting right in the path of massive development pressure. So it's basically ground zero for this clash between the old and the new. And Almar's story is just, well, it's a story of huge, sweeping changes. It was founded way back in 1775, all based on traditional design. But then, in 1947, after the partition of India, everything changed with a massive wave of refugees. Then came the 70s and an industrial boom, which brought even more people in, putting a huge strain on housing and infrastructure. And all of that has led to the really complex problems it's dealing with today.
So where do you even start with a city facing all this? Well, you have to understand it first, right? And using that HUL approach, we're going to peel back the different layers of Alwar to see what really makes it tick.
Okay, first up is the physical layer. What you're looking at here is a figure ground map. Basically, black is buildings, white is open space. And just look at the difference. Inside the old city walls, it's so dense and organic. You can tell it was built for people, for walking. Now compare that to the sprawling stuff happening outside the walls. This was a city built at a human scale. But of course, a city isn't just buildings. To get the social side of things, you need to know this one word, mahalla. A mahalla is a traditional neighborhood. Think of it as a hidden residential cluster, almost like an enclave, that forms the absolute core of the city's social life. And check this out. This map shows how all those mahallas connect to form this incredible social web. They're kind of tucked away behind the main commercial streets. And this structure is what creates such a powerful sense of community. Everybody knows their neighbors. It's what holds the whole social fabric of the city together. And then finally, there's the cultural layer. And this is the stuff you can't always see or touch, the intangible heritage. It's the traditional crafts, like papermaking, that have been passed down for generations. It's the local food, the music, the festivals. This is what gives the city its unique soul. Okay, so we've got this incredible city with all these rich layers, physical, social, cultural. But what happens when that whole delicate system gets put under massive pressure? Let's take a look at the chain reaction. This right here, this shows the devastating ripple effect. It all kicks off with those big historical moments, partition, industrialization, that cause a huge influx of people. This triggers a massive housing crisis, which leads to this really complicated problem where a single house might have tons of different owners. And the end result? Buildings fall apart, illegal extensions pop up everywhere, and the quality of life just goes down. And that ownership problem, it is the absolute core of the issue. Just look at this data. Only about 23% of properties in the old city have a single owner. The vast majority have 2, 3, even 4 or more owners. I mean, can you imagine trying to get 3 different cousins who might not even live there anymore to agree on fixing a leaking roof? It's next to impossible. So what happens? The buildings just decay. All this pressure also changes what people do with their homes. You can see it right here in this chart. The number of purely residential homes has gone way down, while mixed-use properties have shot way up. That means families are turning parts of their houses into little shops or businesses just to make ends meet. It's a survival tactic, but it completely changes the character of these old neighborhoods.
So, to deal with all this, residents are pretty much forced to take matters into their own hands. They're cramming in more rooms, building extra floors, adding outside staircases so they can rent out space. Of course, this often violates building codes and gets rid of those traditional open courtyards, leading to a really chaotic and sometimes unsafe environment that just eats away at the city's historic character.
All right, we've seen the layers of Alwar, and we've seen the pressures that are tearing them apart. So the big question is, what's the answer? Given this tangled mess of problems, how do you even begin to save a city's soul? Well, the research all points to one single powerful idea, and it's captured perfectly in this quote. The focus should be more on local communities to achieve long-term sustainability. The answer isn't some huge top-down plan cooked up in an office somewhere. So here's the big takeaway. Real preservation, the kind that actually lasts, isn't about roping off a city and turning it into a museum for tourists. It's about empowering the local communities, the actual people who live there, who are the living, breathing soul of these historic places. Any plan for the future has to start with them. And that really leaves us with something to think about in our own backyards. When you think about the historic part of your town or city, what's the thing that really makes it feel alive? Is it just the old buildings? Or is it the people, the local shops, the traditions, and that unique energy you feel in the streets?